Hey, comic addicts, it's Joe with Black Box Silver and Bronze, and I just got back with a great comic haul. So let's check it out. Hey, comic addicts, I just got back from a trip to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. My son is spending a month there. He's in the Naval Academy and he's doing some summer training there. So I told him I'd come visit for the weekend. And on the way there and on the way back, I hit 4 comic stores that I've never been to before. And I also went to a couple of antique stores with my son while we were in at Camp Lejeune, which is Jacksonville, North Carolina. So I took a different route on the way out, the way back. I'm in Chattanooga, and I took a southerly route on the way out. I went down to Atlanta and then through Florence, South Carolina, where I hit 2 comic stores, and then on to Camp Lejeune. And on the way back, a more northerly route, I went through Asheville, North Carolina, Knoxville, and then down to Chattanooga. Both routes were about exactly the same time. So I thought 2 different routes, more comic stores. So what did I get? Well, I got this. This is really cool. I got this in at Nirvana Comics in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is Eerie Tales, and it is a one-shot by a company called Stanhall, and it's from 1959. It's a horror comic magazine. It's magazine sized, and I was there in the store. They said, go ahead and look through it if you want. So I took it out of the bag like I'm doing now. And I was paging through it, and it's all black and white inside. There's about 4 or 5 horror stories in it. And the last one, titled Lower Than Hell, I've got Al Williamson's signature on it. So I thought that was really cool. That's Eerie Tales, and it's a one-shot. So that's what I picked up. I always try to hit Nirvana Comics in Knoxville whenever I'm heading up or down, if I'm going through Knoxville, because they're constantly getting new stuff, and they're really nice people, and they're always willing to negotiate on the prices. They got a nice wall of books when you come in, and Golden Age, Silver Age, modern, all kinds of things. All right. In Asheville, North Carolina, I hit a place called Pastimes. And this was a really nice shop, too. Very friendly guy in there, the owner, and lots of back issues, lots of books on the wall and in the cabinet. And I was looking for Golden Age and Silver Age. He says that stuff comes in and goes out quickly, but they did have some stuff. And one of the things I found was Wonder Woman number 162. And this is a great looking cover there. It's a 12 center. It's from May of 1966. And that guy over there is the Minister Blizzard. That's his second appearance. The first appearance of Minister Blizzard appeared in Wonder Woman number 29. And I just love the art on that cover. It's of the time period. And then he appeared in Justice League and some other comics later on. The second thing I got from this store was an Action Comics number 1. Now, I couldn't believe this, but it's a facsimile. So I thought this would look really cool to have up on my wall in here. I love these facsimiles. This is Action Comics number 1. It's slabbed in a 9.8. It's going to go up on the wall here behind me, and it was $60. And so I thought that for that kind of, a lot of times I see these facsimiles slabbed. They're selling for about $99 or $100, but $60, $5 for the book, probably about $40 to slab it if you send it off, and then will you get a 9.8? So I figured, $60, I will do that. So that's what I got from Pastimes. The other place I went to was called Comic Envy. And there was a super nice woman in there. I believe her name was Allison. very friendly. The shop is really well organized. And I came in there, asked her how it's set up, and she had a section that was like mostly golden and silver age, a section where there was new arrivals, a dollar box section, and then all the other back issues by Marvel, DC, and Independence, the new stuff over here, stuff in the case, very well organized. The prices were very fair, and she gave me a big discount when I brought up a big stack of comics. So here's what I got there. I got Life with Archie, number 148. This is one of my favorite Archie series to read. I've said it before, but um, it's less of the, teen humor, dating stuff, high school stuff, and it's more adventures, kind of like Scooby-Doo adventures. They're always getting in these crazy situations, and there's mysteries and adventure and things like that. So I always pick these up when I can find these. I think these were like $2 a piece, and then there was a big discount on it. I got number 149. And I got a little Archie. You might have seen this one before because I've had this before, but this is in better condition than my previous copy. It's Little Archie number 98. Now, I just really like this particular Little Archie. I've got a handful of Little Archie. I don't really collect it per se, but if there's something about it, I might pick it up. And so one of the things that I like about this one is that it's just a little creepy. So you got this bathing beauty contest for the girls, right? And so here they are in their bikinis and swimsuits. And who's watching them? These old men are watching these little girls. It's just a little creepy. Then I snagged this, and there's an interesting story about this. This is Walt Disney's Uncle Scrooge, Gold Key, and this is number 89. And they had a large assortment of Disney comics in the Golden Age section. This is not Golden Age, but almost all of their Disney comics were in there. Large assortment, a 10-cent Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Uncle Scrooge. So I was just looking through all of them, and this one just looked interesting. I liked the cover on it, so I grabbed it. It was $3 with the 20% discount, and I just like this one. Well, when I got home and opened it up and started reading it, what I found out, well, actually, I found out not because I was reading it, but because my friend Steven sent me a post and said, "Hey, look what I just got." And it was this cover, but this is a reprint. So he had the original copy, which I think was a Dell. And I was like, "Oh, I got the same thing." And I opened it up, and just recently, Alan, the comic collector geek, was telling a story about one of his favorite Uncle Scrooge stories, which is called "The Second Richest Duck in the World." And I think he gave that comic to his brother because his brother liked it. And that's what this story is. So I thought that was really kind of crazy. I didn't pick it up for that reason, but it turns out that that's what it was. I like to pick up the Scooby-Doos. This is Scooby-Doo Mystery Comics, number 18. There's another series called Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? There are two different ones from around the same time period. But I always pick these up when I can find them. I think this was $2, some $2, $3, something like that. This is very cool, something I have never seen before. But this is Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle, Giant. This is a Gold Key comic, as you can see up there. And what's kind of interesting about this is a couple of things. One, the cover is newsprint. It's not glossy like most covers are. So it's more like whenever I get promotional comics from like the 50s or 60s, even the covers are newsprint. And that's how this is. The whole thing is newsprint. It doesn't have a different kind of paper for the front or back cover. There's no ads in here. It's just all story from front to back. And even the back cover, the stories are printed on the back cover. And so you read the stories all the way through the book and then even onto the back cover. I think it's even on the inside front cover. No ads. It's thick. It's like a square bound, but it's not square bound. So it's not, it's a wrapped comic, but it's very thick. I don't know if it's picking it up yet. It's very thick, like a square bound, but it's not square bound and glued. It's all wrapped. So I found that really interesting, and that was from September of 1965. Here's Adventures of the Jaguar, #8, with this nice robot cover. And I'm collecting this series slowly. Whenever I find them at good prices, I pick them up and fill in the holes. One of the things about the Adventures of the Jaguar and also Adventures of the Fly is that it makes it difficult to find the numbers. They don't put the numbers on the front, so you got to look inside. Or sometimes the comic shops will write them on the back like they did on this one. This is a cool one I had never seen before. And I love finding stuff that I have never seen before. And this is from Charlton Comics. And it is Long John Silver and the Pirates. I love that masthead where looks like silver letters there with kind of like rivets holding it on there. Beautiful Maurice Whitman art on the cover and on the interior. And there were only 3 issues in this series. So this is the last of the issue. This is number 32. So it was 30, 31, and 32. And usually what I found with Charlton and even some other companies is that whenever they have a comic book that starts at a certain number, it's because it was previously called something else. I found this giant size Christmas comic, Jingle Dingle Christmas Stocking Comics. And this is a one-shot, also by Stan Hall, the same company that I showed, the first comic I showed you, that horror magazine comic. And this is by Stan Hall. It's a one-shot, and it's got this great Christmas cover on it. It's very thick. It's quite thick, and it was a 25-cent comic. I found this really cool promo comic I had never seen before. It's called Boy Scout Adventures. It's 16 pages, all newsprint, and it has this nice Boy Scout canoe paddling on the front cover, and the back cover, you would rip this off, and on the inside, it's if you wanted to join the Boy Scouts, you would fill out the information. It was like name of your father, your mother, your address. You'd fold this up, put a stamp on it, mail it to the Boy Scouts of America. And I had never seen that before. Got a little tape pull right there. And then the coolest thing that I got from this particular comic store was this comic that I'm about to show you. This is Hickory #3. And Hickory #3 was printed in 1950. This is from Quality Comics. It's got this really cute good girl art on there. And there were 6 issues in this series. So it ran from 1 through 6. As I said, this is #3. Once it got to #3, this one, they started putting these really cute good girl covers on it. So on 3, on 4, 5, and on 6, they had these really great covers. This is by an artist who I might pronounce this wrong. His last name is spelled Sahle. So I don't know if it's Harry Sale or Harry Sal. I think Sale, Harry Sale. But really kind of beautiful. And there's kind of an interesting story about this, is that there was just a copy of this on eBay. It was a 4.0 slabbed copy. I threw it in my cart. I think it was listed for about $650, something around there. And I threw it in my cart. And I was waiting, hoping that a lot of times when I throw stuff in my eBay cart, a couple of days later, I'll get a reduced offer on it. So I just threw it in there and was hoping to get a reduced offer. I wanted to pick it up for about $400. But the very next day it was gone. And a friend of mine picked it up. And then that was just maybe on Thursday or Friday. It was very recent. And then on the following Monday, I actually found this in a store. So I was really, really happy to get it. Very beautiful comic. All right, so that was all the comics that I found in Asheville, North Carolina. I had never been to Asheville before. It is a beautiful mountain town. It was so nice. As I was coming from Camp Lejeune, heading west through North Carolina, Camp Lejeune was very muggy and kind of had a swampy feel, very flat. And as I started heading west, it started getting mountainous. And when I got to Asheville, it was just beautiful. In an antique store right outside of Camp Lejeune, I was able to only find one comic, but it was one that I didn't have, which was Static #3. I think I paid $2 or $3 for this, so I was really happy to get that. I do like to get these milestone comics of Static and Hardware, two characters I like to read, particularly Hardware. I have a lot more Hardware, but I was happy to find that Static. Okay, and then the other place where I hit comic stores was on the way out when I went through Florence, South Carolina. I went to Galactic Comics, and I had a fun time there. It was huge, and I was talking to the owner's daughter. The owner was out of town at a comic convention, but the daughter was running the show that weekend, running the store that weekend. And super friendly person. Her and her husband were there, and she told me that this store was the second largest comic store in the world, and it was gigantic. And I believe her. And I said, "Well, what was the largest one? Mile High?" She said, "Yeah." And I have been to both, and Mile High is larger, but as far as like being able to walk around and look through comics and pull them out of the boxes and on the wall and everything, this place was better. I've been to both of them. And the thing with Mile High is it's a gigantic warehouse, but a lot of it is off limits to the public. So if there are particular comics you want, like you can dig through some comics, but a lot of them are not even out there for you to find on your own. You have to go to a salesperson and ask them, and they'll look it up, and then they'll go in the back and get it for you. Not as fun to me. So Galactic Comics was really fun. And it was similar to Mile High in that, in addition to all the comics, had all these props around, had this like gigantic Hulk statue that was really cool. It had a Hulk pinball machine, which was really cool. And there were all kinds of different statues around. And in addition to the comics, they sold all kinds of action figures. I think there were pops there, but like G.I. Joe action figures and the Marvel Legends and the DC, all that kind of stuff. It was great. All right, the first comic book, and these were all dollar comics that I picked up at Galactic Comics. The first one I got was Little Archie #75 from 1972. And you might think, wow, he does collect Little Archie, because I picked up two of them in this haul, but I left a lot behind. I just like this cover with the haunted house. I always like haunted house stories, kind of like Scooby-Doo, Jinkies, it's Mr. Jenkins.
Zoinks! It's Mr. Carswell.
And I picked up a couple of Life with Archies. They had a nice stack of Life with Archies. I have about 8 or 10, but I had most of them. Two of them I didn't. They were both from 1973. Here's issue number 132. Right? And it looks kind of like a Scooby-Doo type thing happening. And this is issue number 137. The fourth comic I got was another Archie comic, but it was a promo comic from the FBI. It was a complimentary copy, and it was for Drug Free America. So it was an anti-drug comic. And I thought I had this one already. And so when I got home, I found out that I did have it, but I noticed something interesting that I didn't know. And that is that the comics have variants. So there was three printings. So there was a 1991 printing and then the two printings in 1992. I think this is the 1991 printing. I could be wrong. But uh, you see on the back there, it tells you that it's from the FBI, right? So that's one printing. And then this is the one that I already had, which, it looks exactly the same on the front, but on the back, it says Elks Drug Awareness. So there's three printings. Two of them I have, they're different. And I'll see if I ever find that third one, what that one looks like. So that was my haul from Galactic Comics. And I've kind of done this in reverse order because I wanted to leave the biggest comic for last. So the first place I went to, which was on the way out in Florence, South Carolina, was called Legends Comics. And as I drove up, I was just really excited because when I pulled up, I saw this wall that had a big picture of a Batman comic on it, and it just looked really exciting. I got out of my car. The car next to me was painted like Superman. It was had Superman's logo on it. I didn't get a picture of that. I wish I had. As I went up to the front door, the window had pictures of all these superheroes on it. And I was like, this is really cool. And I went in, and it was kind of a medium-sized store, but they had lots and lots of back issue comics, wall comics, comics in glass cases. I was talking to, there were three men in there, the owner and two other guys, super friendly, super helpful. And the owner, I don't remember his first name, but it begins with a J. It's Jay Harrison. He was a police officer, and he got out of that. He was doing this, and really great store. So I told him I was looking for older Golden Age and Silver Age stuff, and they told me to look in the cases and in some of the bins. And I said, in particular, I was, looking for some old Archies, and so they had one in the case. So that was the big one I got. But I dug around, and the other two comics that I got, in addition to the big one I'm about to show you, is I was able to get Fear #2. This is from 1971. That's a Jack Kirby cover. And that's the same cover that was on Tales to Astonish #20. And this reprints about 5 or 6 stories from the 1960 and 1961 monster stories from Tales to Astonish 15, Tales to Astonish 20, and Strange Tales #90. So I got that one. I told them I was looking for some Archies. They sent me to the section, and they had about 5 or 10 older Archies, some Golden Age, some Silver Age. And this is one that I picked up. This is number 111. And I just think it's a really cute cover. That art is by Sam Schwartz. And this is from July of 1960. And there's a pence variant of this, believe it or not. Here it is. Here's the big book that I got. And this was in their glass case. They took it out. I looked at it, and we made a deal on all these 3 comics. It's Archie's Pal, Jughead, #79. This is from December of 1961. It's got this great Creature from the Black Lagoon cover. It doesn't say it up here in the notes, but I believe that is the first appearance of the Creature of the Black Lagoon in comics. Pretty sure I've heard that before. Just a really cool cover, and hard to find in the wild. I've been looking for this for 3 or 4 years, and there's been copies available on eBay, but they've been astronomical. And was really excited when I saw this in there, and made a deal with him on it. I got it for $300 less than the price he had on it. He was really open to negotiations, and I think I got a really good deal on that. I'm so excited to have this. I have a list of comics that I'm looking for, and I put specific ones on there, the bigger ones, and this has been on that list for several years. So real happy to have that one. It's a very nice shape. It's a 4.0, and it's in very nice shape. It looks really good, presents really extremely nicely. So comic addicts, what do you think? Which of these comics do you like the best? I think I had a great haul. I had a great weekend visiting my son, antiquing, going to comic stores, did a lot of driving, but made some great finds. And if you're in Florence, I would recommend you check out both of those comic stores. And if you're in Asheville, I would recommend you check out both of those comic stores. Both of the stores were super friendly people and tons of comics to dig through. And all of them had fair prices and were willing to give you discounts and negotiate. So 2 thumbs up for those comic stores. Thanks for watching, Comic Addicts. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.